Hello, everybody. It's Filipa, Bellette, your functional medicine practitioner on a mission to end body burnout for good. So exciting. So I wanted to do a lab review on food allergy testing or delayed food allergy testing. So there are lots of different types of food allergy testing in this answers portal. I've only included, I think, one sample report, and also this video will be based on only one report. But there are lots of different types of food allergy testing. And the reason why I would do this test, it's not usually a test I would do straight up with a new client. And the reason for that is that even if there are food sensitivities, I'd want to, heal the gut, heal the detox pathways, heal the neuroendocrine system, all these things that react and play with each other and affect your body's ability to break down foods and to metabolize them in a healthy way. So this food allergy test would be more so as a follow-up test. If we've done the gut healing, if we've worked on the stress hormones, if your detox pathways are working better, but there's still some things that just aren't quite right when it comes to reacting to certain foods. Or occasionally too, if someone wants to do all the main tests that we do at the start, and they also want to do a food allergy test, I'm all for it. If your budget allows it and you're happy to go for it, do a food allergy test as well. It can really help people who are quite concerned about what they're eating, wanting to make sure they're eating foods that their body responds well to. It can be a good part of like even the healing program in the initial phases as we're healing the gut, to kind of eliminate certain foods that are causing inflammation as we're healing the gut. Sometimes that can actually help with healing faster. So let me screen share this. So first of all, there's a few different types of sensitivities when it comes to reacting to foods. So this food panel is looking at IgA and IgG food allergy markers. So the body's producing IgA or IgG antibodies against certain foods. We can also test for IgE. Oh, and before I go into that, so IgA and IgG are both delayed reactions, so they don't happen straight after you eat. It might happen later on in that day, or you might get reactions 2 or 3 or even 4 days after you eat the food. When those things are happening, it's really hard to pinpoint what foods are reacting negatively to you, because it's like, well, I don't know, like I ate eggs one day and I was fine after them, but 4 days later I didn't feel fine. But was it the eggs or was it something else I ate that day? So it can clear up a lot of confusion by doing this test. We can also test for IgE allergy markers. IgE are the immediate reactions to food. They're often like the more anaphylactic type reactions to foods, or if it's not as bad as an anaphylactic reaction, which you would probably know about by now, GPs also test for IgE food allergies. It might be that, you might be getting more subtle reactions, whether that's, your lips swell up, or you come out in a rash, or you develop asthma after you eat certain foods. And in terms of symptoms as well for food reactions, it can be so many different things. Think of all the symptoms. It could be any of them. It could cause you more fatigue. It could cause skin issues. It could cause pimples or eczema, or just rashes. It could cause heartburn, diarrhea, explosive poos. It could cause mood imbalances like anxiety, or things like brain fog, or it could cause achiness in the body. So there's so many different symptoms that could be related to food sensitivities. So these, and then there's also food intolerance testing, which is also a blood test. I do more the delayed food allergy antibody markers, such as the one I'm showing you. But again, I will do or prescribe whatever I feel is best for you. And then too, so before I go into the actual markers, so each of the food panels also consists of different foods. So you can either get a test that has 96 foods, 144 foods, or 208 foods. So depending on the variety of your diet, you might want to get a test that covers like more variety, or if you eat quite simply, or where doing a food allergy test for a child and they have quite a smaller diet, not very diverse, then doing a 96 panel could work for you. And then also there's different tests that look at a general food panel from a Western point of view, diet, a vegetarian panel. So, you know, it's really customizing what you eat and making sure that we're covering all the foods that you currently eat in your diet. And that we're not being excessive and testing for stacks and stacks of foods that you actually don't eat that often. So when I'm looking at these test results, they're pretty self-explanatory. Basically, if markers are coming up in this red range, so 3 or 4, that's showing that there's quite a high reaction to the foods that the person is eating. If it's coming up as 0, it's negligible. 1, very, very mild sensitivity. I don't usually even consider eliminating foods in that panel. In the 2 column, that's where there's a moderate sensitivity, depending on like how many foods are showing up, will be dependent on, you know, how much food we actually decide to eliminate. But, you know, we cover all that in the lab review consult. So as you can see here, this person's pretty good with dairy. They're pretty good with most veggies. They have a little bit of a sensitivity to garlic, grains and legumes and nuts. So there's some issues here with almonds. That's coming up in the high zone. So for these sorts of people, I would be like, okay, let's cut out nuts for a bit. Let's see if that helps with symptoms. Garlic might be something that we cut out. You'll also notice here that there's both white and gray columns. So they're showing up IgA and Ig reactions. So again, so many different types of tests for food allergies. You could just do a single IgA test or a single IgG test. I do like combining them because, as you can see here, if we just did an IgA test, almonds would have looked like they're okay, but the IgG test shows that they are actually causing a lot of inflammation and that the body's producing antibodies against almonds. Again, fish, crustacea, mollusks, there's all sorts of markers there that we can look at. Herbs and spices, egg, meat and poultry. So this person is not loving chicken, egg whites or egg yolks. So that would be something that you'd want to eliminate from your diet as you're healing the gut, and then you can retest it later on. Generally, this one's looking pretty sparse, so not too much work to do there based on the results that are showing up in the test. I think that is all. I was going to mention something, but it slipped my mind, but that is okay. So yeah, so that's what a food allergy test would look like. It's pretty simple. You can either go to the pathology center and get a blood draw from your arm, or we can order in a blood spot sample where you prick your finger and you draw the blood out, whatever you feel comfortable with. Especially some kids or people who really fear needles might actually prefer the blood spot and squeeze the blood out, as opposed to it going to the pathology center and getting a needle stuck in the arm.